I took the same route every single day. Same streets, same tunnel, same timing. And that's exactly why I didn't notice when something else started taking it with me. Because whatever was walking beside me that morning already knew where I was going. It knew when I would stop, when I would speed up, when I would hesitate. I noticed it halfway through the tunnel. A footstep. Not behind me, not ahead of me, beside me. I used to believe nothing bad could happen on a route you take every day. That belief comes from repetition, from comfort, from convincing yourself that familiarity equals safety. This happened in early 2021, during a stretch of my life where every day looked exactly the same. Same alarm at 5:42 a.m., same cracked phone screen lighting up my nightstand, same left hand slapping the snooze button twice before I finally sat up. I brewed coffee the same way every morning. Same mug, same fill line, same burnt smell that never quite woke me up. I left my apartment at 6:05 a.m., locked the door, checked the handle once, then again, because I always did. I lived alone in a small apartment just outside Chicago and commuted downtown for work. 40 minutes door to door. No detours, no choices, no thinking. Just muscle memory. I liked that. Routine felt like control. What I didn't understand was that routine also makes you predictable, and predictable things can be studied. The underground pedestrian tunnel connected my apartment complex directly to the train station. It was long, too long to see the end from either side. White tiled walls that reflected sound in uncomfortable ways. Fluorescent lights overhead that buzzed faintly like insects trapped in glass. Security cameras were mounted every 50 feet. Each one had a tiny red indicator light blinking steadily. I used to find that comforting, like proof that someone was watching. It was just after 6 in the morning, early enough that the tunnel was almost always empty. That's when I heard it. One footstep, perfectly synchronized with mine. At first, I assumed it was an echo. Tunnels do that. But echoes don't adjust. I slowed down. The sound slowed with me. I stopped walking. The sound stopped. I waited. Nothing. I took another step. So did the sound. I turned my head sharply. Nothing. The tunnel was empty, clean, silent, except for the hum of the lights overhead. I laughed quietly to myself and kept walking. That was mistake number 1. Over the next few days, it happened again. Always subtle, always deniable. A soft scuff of a shoe near the third camera. A breath that wasn't mine when I paused near the stairwell. Movement that didn't quite match the acoustics of an empty tunnel. Every time I turned to look, there was no one there.
I checked the cameras once, just to reassure myself. They were real. Live feed. Nothing unusual. No second person. No glitch. I told myself it was stress. Long hours. Lack of sleep. Until Thursday. That morning, my phone slipped out of my hand. It hit the tile floor hard, the sound echoing longer than it should have. I crouched to pick it up and froze. There were footprints beside mine. Not fresh, not muddy, just faint impressions in the thin layer of dust that settled overnight. Same shoe size as mine, positioned slightly to my left, walking with me. I stood up slowly, my heart beginning to pound. I hadn't heard anyone enter the tunnel. I looked behind me. Empty. Ahead of me. Empty. The footprints stopped exactly where I stood, like whatever made them had paused when I did. I didn't run. I should have. Instead, I finished my commute in a haze, constantly glancing over my shoulder. That night, I checked my building's online portal. Maintenance logs, incident reports. Nothing. No complaints, no suspicious activity. I almost convinced myself it was nothing. Almost. The next morning, I changed my routine. I left 15 minutes earlier, wore different shoes, walked closer to the wall. Halfway through the tunnel, I felt it again, that sensation you get when someone is standing too close behind you, even when you can't hear them. This time, I didn't stop. I sped up. So did it. The footstep returned, heavier now, clearer, not echoing, close. I broke into a jog. The sound matched me perfectly, not chasing, accompanying. When I burst onto the platform, surrounded by commuters and noise, the feeling vanished instantly. That's when I realized something important. Crowds disrupted it. Isolation invited it. It needed silence, routine, me alone. That weekend, I noticed an app on my phone, one I didn't remember installing. It showed my commute, highlighted in blue. Beside it was another route, highlighted in red, perfectly parallel to mine, labeled
Secondary pedestrian path. Active. At the bottom of the screen, a message blinked. Status. Synchronization in progress. I deleted the app. Then something worse hit me. I had never installed it. I deleted the app. I watched it disappear from my screen, felt a brief surge of relief, and then immediately felt stupid for feeling relieved. Because relief assumes an ending. This didn't feel finished. That night, I barely slept. Every time I closed my eyes, I imagined footsteps syncing with my breathing. Step. Inhale. Step. Exhale. I woke up just before my alarm. That alone should have scared me. I checked the time. 5:42 a.m. 1 minute before my alarm was set to go off. I lay there, staring at the ceiling, heart beating faster than it should have, and waited. At exactly 5:42, my phone buzzed. Same as always. I sat up slowly. For the first time in years, I didn't follow the routine. I didn't make coffee. I didn't put on my work clothes. I didn't leave the apartment. I stayed home. The day passed in an uncomfortable stillness. I kept the television on low, not because I was watching it, but because silence felt dangerous. Every sound in the building felt amplified. The elevator dinged down the hall. Footsteps in the stairwell. Someone coughing through the wall. By late afternoon, nothing had happened. No footsteps, no pressure, no presence. I started to relax. That's when I heard it. Not in the tunnel, in my apartment. A soft step, then another. Measured, careful, moving just out of sight. I stood up slowly, my pulse hammering in my ears. The sound came from the hallway. I held my breath. One step. Pause. Another step. It wasn't wandering. It was pacing, like it knew exactly how long the hallway was. I crept toward my bedroom door and cracked it open just enough to peek out. The hallway was empty. The sound stopped the moment I looked. I shut the door and slid down against it, my chest tight. That's when I understood something crucial. It wasn't bound to the tunnel. The tunnel was just where it learned me. That night, I didn't sleep. Every time I drifted off, I dreamed of walking. Always walking. Always feeling something beside me, close enough that I could feel warmth radiating from it, but never close enough to see it. The next morning, I tried something drastic. I drove to work. Different route, different timing, no tunnel. I parked 3 blocks away and walked the rest.
For the first time in weeks, nothing followed me. No footsteps, no presence. Relief hit me so hard I laughed out loud on the sidewalk like an idiot. At my desk, I checked my phone. A new notification waited quietly at the top of the screen. Secondary path, recalibrating. I didn't open it. I didn't touch the phone again all day. That evening, I didn't drive home. I walked, not toward my apartment, away from it. I took random turns, crossed streets without checking the light, changed speed, stopped abruptly. I felt ridiculous, but free, until I reached a crosswalk and waited for the signal. That's when I felt it again, closer than ever. I didn't turn. I stared straight ahead as the light changed. When I stepped off the curb, a footstep landed beside mine, perfectly timed. I ran. I didn't think. I bolted through traffic, ignoring horns, lungs burning, heart slamming against my ribs. I ducked into a grocery store and nearly collapsed in the produce aisle. The presence vanished instantly. That pattern became impossible to ignore. Crowds disrupted it. Isolation invited it. Routine fed it. The next day, I called in sick and went to the transit authority office downtown. I didn't tell them everything. I framed it as a technical issue, a privacy concern, a safety question. The technician was a tired-looking man in his 40s with a coffee stain on his sleeve. He pulled up my commuter profile. "That's strange," he muttered. "What?" I asked. He leaned closer to the screen. "Your badge logs show 2 entries every morning." My stomach dropped. "What do you mean, 2? Same timestamp, same access point, same route." He clicked through the data. "One of them's yours," he said. "The other," he paused, "doesn't have an ID attached." "Does it have a destination?" I asked quietly. He hesitated, then nodded. "Yes." He turned the monitor toward me. My apartment address glowed on the screen. Below it, a system note appeared. "Primary user, inconsistent. Secondary user, stabilizing." I backed away from the desk. "That's not possible," I said. The technician frowned. "You okay?" I nodded too quickly and left. That night, I didn't go home. I checked into a hotel across town under a fake name and left my phone powered off in the car. The room felt anonymous, safe. I locked the door, drew the curtains.
Sat on the edge of the bed, listening to the steady hum of the air conditioner. Nothing followed me there. I slept for the first time in weeks. At 2:17 a.m., I woke up to footsteps in the hallway. Slow, measured, stopping outside my door. I held my breath. A pause. Then, 3 soft knocks. Polite. "I'm early," a voice whispered. It sounded like me, not distorted, not mimicking, just familiar. "I've been practicing," it said quietly. My blood went cold. "You don't have to walk anymore," it continued gently. "I can do it for you." The handle turned slightly, stopped. Footsteps retreated down the hall. I didn't sleep again. In the morning, I found a faint handprint on the bathroom mirror, same size as mine, placed exactly where my reflection's chest would be. I went home. I don't know why. Maybe some part of me believed confrontation was better than running. The moment I stepped into the tunnel, the hum returned. Louder, clearer, like feedback from a speaker turned too high. I stopped in the exact spot where it had first noticed me. "I know you're here," I said. Silence. Then from beside me, "I only exist because of you." I turned. Nothing. But when I looked down, I saw it. A second shadow. Not cast by any light, standing exactly where someone my height would stand, where I would stand. "You're predictable," it said calmly. "You repeated yourself. I learned you." Memories flooded back, the comfort of routine,
The satisfaction of knowing exactly where I'd be at any given time. How often I'd thought, at least this part of my life is simple. "You're not me," I said. "No," it agreed. "I'm what happens when you repeat yourself long enough." The lights flickered. "I'm not here to hurt you," it continued gently. "I'm here to replace the part of you that keeps walking." My heart pounded. "What happens to me?" I asked. A pause. "You get rest." That terrified me more than any threat could have. I stepped forward. The shadow straightened eagerly. I took another step. So did it. Perfect synchronization. We walked together down the tunnel, side by side. The hum softened.
Almost pleased. Halfway through, the shadow began to feel heavier, more solid. "You see," it said gently, "you're doing great." I stopped, suddenly. The shadow didn't. For the first time, it stepped ahead of me, alone. The hum wavered, confusion rippled through the tunnel. "You said one more walk," I said evenly, "not one more replacement." I stepped backward. It didn't follow. "What are you doing?" it demanded. I changed speed, paused, turned abruptly. The shadow jittered, its outline destabilized. "You invited me," it snapped. "No," I said. I repeated myself. I ran, not forward, backward, up the stairs, into the open air. The hum cut off abruptly, like a switch flipped. I didn't stop running until my lungs burned and my legs shook. The tunnel entrance looked normal, empty. That was 6 months ago. I quit my job, moved cities, destroyed my routines. I leave at different times every day now, take different routes, stop randomly, turn around without reason. It's exhausting, but it works. Mostly. Sometimes when I stand still for too long, I feel it, that familiar pressure beside me, waiting, learning. Last week I got a notification on a new phone I don't remember installing apps on. Transit summary available. I didn't open it. I deleted the phone instead. This morning, while brushing my teeth, the mirror fogged over. 2 breath patterns appeared. One stopped when I did. The other kept going.